for Nicholai. I almost have him to level 50. Now with this new deck, I've probably won about 6 matches in a row, maybe 7. I haven't lost with it today. Only had a couple people get to area 3. Most of them die by area 2. But I'm a believer that by the further that they progress through the areas, the stronger you should be. Anyways, so the first variant we have for a skill is Weapon Nemesis, obviously. I have Relentless on. It shortens your cooldown when you defeat or track survivors. I plan on defeating survivors when I drop my Nemesis, so when I drop them, it counts. You know, there's usually a lot of zombies around, or traps, or turrets. I love to have like 1 or 2 turrets in the area shooting up to survivors, or have one down while he's trying to pick them up, then drop Nemesis. I usually don't drop them solo, unless I'm specifically stalling for time, and that's all I got. Second one's going to be Blood Trail. Automatically tracks all survivors with less than 75% health. That is the second skill on the skill tree for this passive skill. The other one is tracking rounds. Predator is just a better choice in my opinion, because most of the time the survivors are going to be below 75% health if you're shooting them a lot, and or biting them or infecting them, which you're going to see with my deck. For this passive skill, I choose Firearm Efficiency, decrease the cost of firearm related cards by 1. I choose that over firearm ammo and duration, just because I feel that if you drop them in the right spots at the right time, the duration's long enough and the ammo is good enough. Because a lot of the times you'll have all this ammo in your gun, but people are used to Nicholai's now, and they're really used to taking out your cameras. So even if you have that increased ammo and duration, if they take it out, it's just your camera's dead. So I go with the Firearm Efficiency, because it'll make this cost 6, it'll make this costs 5 and this costs 5, and then combined with what I have in my deck, it actually is going to make it cost 4. So and you could potentially even have it lower if you ran your deck slightly different. But so yeah, the equipment obviously for this choice is going to be turret, high caliber. It's an automatic turret. I recommend, for the most part, you drop these turrets when you know someone's right about to come through, so it's not aiming the wrong way. That's something I used to do in the beginning. My gun would be pointed to the left. January would roll through, and she'd just fry my cameras because it wasn't even aimed at them. So they're great in combination. Next, let's go through my equipment. I have Bio Canister 3 post-patch, but pre-patch, when you brought an infectious zombie around a survivor and just stood by them, they generally take about 30 to 40 seconds, I'm going to say safely, to get them to level 3 infection, not including biting or clawing. Second, I have Resilient Skin 3, greatly increases the maximum health of your creatures. And then my other main perk I have is greatly increased damage of my firearms, so that each bullet that hits them really hurts. And then I had some extra room, so I said slightly increased creatures tendency to grab, just because that is a good perk if you're running any sort of creatures. Because when a zombie grabs a survivor, that's a really good opportunity to pull out your gun. I usually don't pull out my guns on survivors when there's nothing around, because they'll just shoot it down, and it's kind of a waste of your time. Next, we have my deck setup, which is a bit, I'd say, controversial as far as like choices go. I don't use shield. I find shield to kind of be a waste of time for me personally. So let's run through my deck. Leg hold trap. It's just a good opportunity when you hear them get snagged. You can pull out Nemesis. You can pull out any number of your guns. Your monster's going to attack them. Especially if there's a lot of chaos going around and they don't have their eyes on the ground. An occasional hold trap will get them. And the combination of this deck is going to keep their eyes low, medium, and high. Next, we have Efficiency Mod Firearms. That'll lower the cost of all firearm cards by 1 while it's in your deck. Don't accidentally use it like you'll see me do in this video. I still managed to pull off a win, but it costs 10 bioenergy to discard, and I accidentally, in this next match against an organized team, discarded it. Not by choice. It was an accident. I just clicked the wrong one. But so that makes all your firearms cost two cheaper with the setup so far. So the machine gun is going to cost you 2. The high caliber rifle is going to cost you 2. Your turret rifle is going to cost you 2. That essentially makes it very easy to just push out gun after gun after gun. We have dog and a zombie for the creatures, and then for my maps, I have creatures set up on every single map. No traps. That's it. And then I usually have all the doors locked furthest away because I'm quick to lock the ones that are closest to the survivors. And then lastly, we have enhance their infection and enhance their regen. Just because the combination of poison and regeneration, you run into those teams that will run past your zombies sometimes, or flash and run through them. They'll get infected while they're running through them, or if they decide to kill half of them or try to kill half of them, they'll regenerate on the ground, which is very helpful. Especially if you start spawning in even more creatures. Being said, we're gonna go cut into a video. I might do a couple videos, but definitely this next video where it's an organized team. I mean, 3 of them are wearing matching uniforms and they're all above level 60. All right, so you'll notice we got level 67, 64, 131, and 104. They're wearing urban camouflage for 3 of them, and Sam's obviously got his America suit on, but that tells me there's probably a good chance that these people are coordinated to some extent. They don't respond to any of my comments complimenting them on their uniforms. So I'm just going to do a play-by-play for this. I have my liquor down over there. Just a basic trap set there. It's pretty standard, expected. I don't perform that well at the beginning here, but it doesn't necessarily matter. And then you'll also see a few errors that some of the survivors make, particularly Jill, not saying she's a bad player, but where they get too confident. I think player-controlled zombies are very important, and you should be taking control of the zombies that you bring in when you can, if you're out of bioenergy. And I pulled out this immobilizing round a little bit too soon. I really should have used it on the other side. I'd realized that as I had it. It ended up working out. Got a slap on January. She got a little lucky there. In hindsight, I should have hit him with the infection instead of this gun. Trying to switch off the guns before they destroy them, but sometimes you can't always pull that off. Gio's running solo over here. I was thinking about trying to take her out, but it probably wouldn't be effective. Bioenergy's pretty low. I have a lot of guns. I'm not really planning on killing anybody with these shots, but I kind of need room in my deck for other things. So I'm just kind of firing at them. Trying to lock doors when I can. Got one gun set up, got a dog, just so it keeps their eyes looking in all different directions. January starts trying to shoot me here, starts getting shot by my other turret, bails on the whole situation, says hell no, starts limping down the stairs. And then this is where Jill messes up. She decides to run off. It really wouldn't have mattered in the end because they got completely obliterated. This is a good, you know, I'm not talking any smack on these guys, they're a good team. But Jill is just exploring. I think she's looking for a particular item, or she's lost. But I thought she's going to go for my supply zombie, which I was going to defend. And then my goal with this zombie here is I'm going to just try to get her infected. Because infected survivors can't shoot as well. They're slower. They're easier to catch up to with Nemesis. There's just so many benefits of having an infection build built into your Nicholai build. I'm happy that I got a few shots off on Jill on this, especially with Martin dancing like that. He's got some moves, so I do the same stuff. But so to me, 5 minutes is like they're doing above mediocre, and I could be definitely be doing better. So this is kind of a weird hand that I have. You notice I have my creatures, and I'm lucky enough to have what's his face, I can never remember his name, spawn in here with me. So I'm kind of waiting and buying my time, and I'm going to drop that flash as soon as they walk through that first door. Buff up my zombies. I'm trying to see which way they go as well. And I make a mistake here at one point. I accidentally consume my mod card that makes all my guns cheaper. I did not mean to do it. It was just like I accidentally clicked on it. But it didn't matter in the end. So this is a really common trick you can do, especially if you know it's an organized team. They're going to have grenades, they're going to have flashbangs. Just slam the door in their face a bunch. If it's really that big of a problem for them, they could go the other way and just go around. So at this point I realized my creatures have got a pretty good handle. January is isolated, so I equipped the auto turret. And this is a situation where it warrants Nemesis pretty heavily. There's somebody down, there's one person infected. Drop Nemesis into the equation, and Mark is screwed. So he's down, and then basically from this point they hide in the safe room. He's lucky that trap was there, or else I might have caught up to him, might have. Jill's off on her own, I'm not going to catch her. I can't leave the survivor, so I shut this door, I'm going to let him die, and buy some time. You can shove survivors with your Nemesis body. It can be helpful at times. So after Martin dies, I go to the front of the blue portion, the door, and camp with my RPG. And I do that because they're either going to waste throwables on me, or one of them's going to try to run for it and I'll just blow them up. So this is where I accidentally consume my mod card, and it's a it takes all of my bioenergy, and then she hits me with the locked cameras. I thought I'd blown it at this point. I thought I'd absolutely, totally screwed this up. So I started trying to throw some creatures in, because I would have had enough for turrets, I'd have had enough for zombies, enhancers, all that stuff. So I kind of have lost this level at this point, I know. So I'm just going to try to do what I can to set up for the next one. So to me that means infection and control creatures, get my bioenergy to 10. So that way when I go into the next area I already have it full up and ready to go. So again, just even being around them infects them. Obviously hitting them does more damage. You can see Jill's got her Molotov out. Trying to make her not use that, but... Again, just trying to buy time there. Again, I think I could have taken them all out, potentially, on this, if I hadn't lost my mod card on accident. You can actually hear me cuss after I use it. So proceeding into Area 3, I have another creature build. I have 2 liquors, and then I'm going to spawn whatever I can. Takes me a minute to get my free gen and my poison cards, actually. It was kind of frustrating. It would have been handy to have that quick draw, but it worked out better in the end this way. And I did get an Ivy, which Ivies are amazing. They are very hard to kill unless you have fire. If you have regen on them and infection, they're even better. So I'm trying to get my buffs. So I'm putting camera guns everywhere, honestly. Desperately trying to get my buffs. I usually don't put a turret there because they'll just destroy it. And then I call this in last minute, that way they have to wait for it to come back up and then down. Sam actually makes it on there. And then I finally start getting... I love the coordinated move there, the 2 liquors, how they flip over. But anyways, here's some infection for these guys. And then usually you get infection pretty quick after that, I found, at least if you used them together last time. So we got a nice little horde stacked up there. They're working on the first core, they took care of it pretty quick, but then I'm going to call in a Nemesis. And don't forget, you can also hit the button as Nemesis. I'm just trying to get at least one of them stuck up here. And lucky for me, it's Martin. I hit the button, even though I'm flashed, I do punch him twice from it. And he tries to run from me, which results in an RPG shot straight to the back, or back wall. Takes him out of the equation. 2 survivors down there, you can see over on the left, my whole gang. It's another pincer maneuver, so essentially I'm trying to trap them between Nemesis and this horde of zombies. They're definitely not going to get to Martin. Jill's using an RPG, so I pull mine out. She must have bulletproof vest. 3 or 2 on, or a yellow urban in her system. Nemesis is done.
Al menos no pasarás la vergüenza de morir.
Martin's done.
Hay que correr, correr.
We proceed to the second floor, and this is really annoying. I could have so broke in that metal thing is in the way, and there's a very, very tiny window where I get one shot in. And again, this is why I don't bother with shields. If you just recover your cameras that got shot, like let them get shot, and switch off of them, you can get a shield for free. So leg trap, another gun, so we have another pincer maneuver with the guns. Jill drops. They're running very low on time. They get my camera. So at this point, I still know that they could probably win. There's a chance. So I got my mod card back, and I got another Ivy. This is where it all comes together. I'm gonna spawn in a second Ivy. The Ivy manages to grab somebody, hit it with infection, slam the door. Well, actually, I get Sam stuck first and slam the door. Another pincer maneuver, got the turret there. And this is where it all kind of comes together. Wipe out the whole rest of the team. Extra time wouldn't matter. If you find this video helpful, please drop a like and subscribe. It helps with the algorithms. I'm going to do more maps with Nicholai, not just this one. But thanks for watching, you guys, and I hope you enjoyed. See ya.